So if you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I kind of was going to make this video to explain why I had a bit of a sad day. Well, not sad day, pretty sad news. And then I actually changed my mind and I said I wasn't going to make the video. But I thought, what's the point? Because I'm already getting loads of people asking me what's going on, sort of thing. Because I said in the comment section on the status, if you follow me on Facebook, that we got rid of Teddy, my dog. I posted a picture on him about a month ago on my Facebook. So I'm just going to talk about that and just to let you know what actually happened, because I'm getting quite a lot of comments asking. So I thought, instead of replying to every single one, I'll just make a video. May as well, it's a lot easier. So basically, I'll start from the beginning and I'll just say the whole story. Might as well. So basically, yeah, Teddy, he's from the kennels. As a rescue dog. So we went up to Bridgend Dog Rescue, Croft Kennels, just inside of South Wales. We went up there about a month ago, picked him up from the kennels, and we thought we'll rehome him, give him another chance in life, because he was a stray. We don't know his background, everything like that. He was a staff bull terrier crossed with a Shar-Pei. Both very hyper dogs. The breeds there, I think a Shar-Pei is like a Japanese hunting dog, and a staff bull terrier, well, you all know what a staff bull terrier is. They're very brute, strong dogs. But he was a lot of hard work with looking after and the attention he needed. He had a lot of energy, as a dog of that size would. But with both me and my girlfriend, fiance I should say, because we're now engaged, which you already know that. If you don't, then now you do. We both have full-time jobs. Like, this isn't my job. I'm doing this for a hobby, so I gotta go to an actual job for 8 hours every day, and so does my partner. So we're not in the house as much as we would like to be. Like, unfortunately, YouTube isn't my job, and one day maybe it could be, and that would be absolutely awesome. But Teddy wasn't getting the attention he needed. I would come home from work and I would always give him a walk. We'd walk him twice a day, yet we tried so hard to let some energy release, but he hated being left on his own. He would be, from the moment we would leave for work in the morning till when we come home, the neighbours would say, since we left for work, he would be barking, he would be crying, he would make these really like yelping cries that he's like someone's fucking beating him up or something. That's the only reason they asked, and the neighbours were saying, what's wrong with him? Is he in pain or something, or what? Like, because they knew we weren't in the house. But I said he just hates being left on his own, and we can't be here all the time, unfortunately. It's little things like, if we both want to go to the gym, we'll leave for 10 minutes and he'll cry his eyes out in the house. If we go shopping, he'll do the same, and we can't take him with us everywhere. Another thing that was very hard with Teddy was he hated other dogs, pretty much. And I think that's down to, his two breeds that he's mixed with. They're very energetic dogs, and Shar-Peis in particular, they're not very fun with other dogs. They're quite vicious sometimes. Depends how they're brought up and if they are introduced dogs when they're puppies. But we don't know this background on Teddy, because one, he was a stray, and two, we got him when he was about 18 months old, so he's already past that stage. So yeah, we would be coming home from work, hearing that he's been crying everything all day. We actually bought a dog cage for him. It was a very big cage, so it wasn't small. I've heard a lot of people, they get away with this with dogs and they keep him in there because he was destroying things around the house. We gave him one chance, so he could roam around the bottom floor of the house. He had all the doors open, things like that. The only door was stopping him was actually, the first time we let him out, me and my partner, we went upstairs for a shower. We were upstairs for maybe an hour, and this was like the first 2 days I think we had him. We weren't sure what he was going to be like with us naked, basically. Like, I'm putting it out there. If when we were going in for a shower, we didn't know what he was going to be like. Was he going to just try and jump up? Because sometimes dogs can get quite horny. He still had his men parts, he had his balls still. But we thought, this is our time to have a shower. We'll go upstairs, freshen up, leave him downstairs locked in the kitchen. We could hear barking, all sorts downstairs, so we actually went down after the shower. We thought, no, we're going to ignore him. Sometimes the best thing to do with dogs is ignore them, just let them get it out of their system, and then they calm down. He wasn't calming down. We were only upstairs for half an hour, maybe 20 minutes. I went downstairs. He actually chewed the panel off the kitchen door and scratched the hell out of the whole door, basically. So he clearly wanted the attention from us and not to be left in the kitchen by himself. I don't know whether he thought we were not coming back. I don't know. So that was the one chance, and then we thought, right, we need to get a dog cage for him, because if we leave him in the kitchen and we're in work for 8 hours, we come home, he's going to be in a lot worse state. And I haven't shown you a house tour yet, but the kitchen's quite nice here. We are renting this property. It's not ours, so any damages are down to us. The landlord's aware we have a dog, but you know, they say you need to repair anything or any damages that we are caused through having this dog. So that is for us to sort, which is already sorted now because he's gone, and we thought we'd get it fixed. But the second time after that, I had a couple of days off work, and I thought, why don't I just let him, you know, have the house to himself when I go back to work for the one day, because that one day I was off with him, we were chilling all day in the living room. We were watching TV together. Basically, I was laying on the sofa, he was laying next to me. It was pretty chilled day. I popped to the shops for literally 5 minutes, but I walked because it was only around the corner, so I didn't use the car. I left him in the living room, closed the door to the front door because there's a bit of a gap. And then I come back and he was fine. He was still sat by the front door, just chilling, waiting for me to come home. I came through the front door, he was buzzing, he was greeting me, he was happy. I thought this could work. This maybe could be the solution to him being left on his own. Maybe he just wants the freedom of the bottom floor of the house and not to be stuck in the cage, which is understandable at the end of the day. Would you want to be stuck in a cage? Probably not. So obviously he wasn't introduced to cages when he was a puppy. He was obviously a free dog. But anyway, on to the next stage when my partner Cerys, she was off work. She went to the shops and went over her mum's house, maybe an hour and a half. Left him in the living room. I said to her to do it because he was pretty good when I went out. She come home to the actual door panel ripped off again, a different door, but he just done the same thing to that. I'm pretty sure he weed in the living room as well, which you can't really moan at because we weren't there to let him out, so that's not his fault. But he knows he's trained to go out the garden, so usually the dogs who know that, they'll wee by the back door or somewhere near the door where they go out anyway. So we done that, and we thought, right, okay, that's it now. That's the last straw. He needs to go back in the cage. Every time we leave the house, he needs to be in the cage, so we know we can't do any more damage. And I could tell that the stress he was in when he was in that cage. He hated it so much. He was actually he bent the cage. He's a very strong dog. He bent the door of the cage. He ripped metal. Metal was welded together at the bottom. He actually ripped that up with his teeth. He was constantly biting the cage, the bars as they go down. He bent them with his teeth so they were literally touching together. He was marking his nose because he was trying to get his nose under the door of the cage, and he was scratching his nose. He actually took skin off his nose, so he's got a big scar there and he's got 2 dots there. And he looks like he's been fighting, which obviously isn't good because he looks quite a rough dog anyway. But that's self-inflicted, so that tells me he really, really wants to get out of that cage, man. So I can't let him stay in there. We can't look after him. We can't give him the house to himself because we'll come home to something else destroyed or something like that. And we only had him a month. We thought he was doing well, and then we decided it's not a good thing because we got nephews, nieces in our family, and we don't know what he's going to be like because he hates other dogs. He sees a dog, he's going to bark at the dog. He's showing aggression to every cat, every dog, big or small, whether the dog's even looking at him or not. He doesn't care. He wants to get to that animal, and he makes these horrible noises. He's not just barking at the dog. It's like a pig, a squealing pig, and he's just dying to get at them. And we don't know if he gets to that dog. Is he gonna chew it? Is he gonna fucking start attacking it, fighting it? I don't know. Is it just excitement? We introduced him to my mum's dog, Alfie. Awesome dog, English Bull Terrier. I'll show you a picture of him sometime. I don't know if I've got one. And he's shown quite a lot of aggression to Alfie. He actually went to bite his face, so we thought, this is not a good thing. This dog clearly has some really bad background with other dogs. Maybe he's been fought. I don't know if people have tried to fight him. He didn't have many scars when we had him, so I doubt it. But we finally drew the straw. We made a decision over the weekend, just gone. But Monday was his last day with us. We took him for a long walk, a good 2 hours, and then we come home. I started doing stuff out the garden, stuff that he didn't like I was using the power hose. He was attacking the power hose, which is fine, you know, it's the dogs, but it needed to be done, so I put him in the kitchen. He ended up weeing twice in the house, which isn't his fault again, but he's obviously distressed because he wasn't allowed outside and he was kicking off. I don't know if he was barking at me or barking because he needed a toilet, but I didn't know. Anyway, he done that, and then he chewed through the laptop charger. He destroyed that, so that's broke. Got to get a new one of them. He then come out the garden when I finished. Next door's dog, was out as well, and he's quite a big spaniel. He was barking at something, and then Teddy heard him and barked back at him, and then they both were basically barking at each other over this 6-foot wall. Couldn't see each other, but at the top of the wall, there's at the top of the garden, there's maybe a 5.5-foot wall which Teddy can just get his head above, and he could see the other dog, but I didn't want to leave him just in case he jumps over. If he could, I don't know. So my partner Cerys, she pulled him down off the wall. He then turned and he caught his tuft on her arm. So he didn't have a nasty bite, but as he came in with his teeth, he didn't close. He just like grated his top of his teeth. But she said he growled as he turned towards her. So he's shown aggression from the dog, and then that aggression travelled through him into Cerys. So he took his aggression out on Cerys, which I don't stand for that at all, but I let it go. I said it might just be because he's wound up because of the dog. An hour later, he done the exact same thing to me, so it's clearly not a one-off. He done the same thing to me. He was jumping up at the wall. He was on his back legs. I grabbed the back of his collar, pulled him off the wall, and he turned, and his mouth just went clearly over my hand, and his back teeth grated along my skin. It was all red, quite like if you catch yourself on like a serrated knife. It took a bit of skin, a little bit of jaggedness. So I said, you know, that's it. I picked him up, threw him in his bed, and he knew he was getting told off. But if he does it then, and we've had him a month, and he was doing quite well, and then he just went backwards so fast and back to square one, and we just said to each other, this isn't good for us. This isn't good for him. He's clearly in the wrong environment. He needs to be somewhere where he's not surrounded by a neighbourhood of loads of barking dogs, loads of crazy noises now and again. Through the night, if he hears a car door close outside, he's up out of bed, he's barking, he's going mental. So he's clearly distressed, and he's got a lot of anxiety, and he's very anxious when he's left alone. So we decided it's not good for him to stay with us. We rung the kennels that we agreed to come and drop him off Tuesday just gone, lunchtime, which was probably one of the hardest things I think I've ever had to do. We've only had him a month, but you could tell he was very, very nervous of going back in there. At first he didn't know what was going on because all he could hear is dogs barking, and he's come from being quite, I'm the dog in this house, and he's hearing other dogs barking. He was at the kennels, and he was dying to see where these barks are coming from. He was so excited to get like into the cages, but he didn't know obviously he wasn't coming back with us, which was very sad. So we handed him over, we signed all the papers back over to them, and I watched him go into his kennel, which, like I said, was definitely one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I haven't cried in 5 years, and it set me off like a treat. I was bawling in the car on the way home, trying to drive back, and every bone in my body wanted me to turn that car around and go and get him and bring him back home, because he's being left in that kennel now on his own. I know he's got dogs all around him and there's people working there and stuff, but he's in another environment, but he's by himself. But hopefully that won't be too long before another family picks him up. And I gave as much information to the kennels as possible. I told them all what his profile needs to be altered, because we picked him up from the kennels with no background at all. We didn't know what type of dog he was. So they know now he doesn't like other dogs. Definitely, he needs to be trained on certain things with that. He needs to be disciplined a lot more. He needs more attention through the day. 8 hours out of the way is no good for any dog, especially not him. So they've altered his profile and they'll find him a home, hopefully, to match his profile. So yeah, it was very hard. I didn't really want to make this video because I don't want this to be kind of like sob story and all that bollocks looking for attention, because I'm not. I just want to keep you up to date, because one day you may turn around and go, where's that video you promised me of Teddy? Or, you know, because I was going to do one. So yeah, quite down in the dumps about it all, but it's the best thing for me and Cerys, and it's the best thing for him. I think he definitely needs a new home. So yeah, I thought I would let you know, keep you updated, and we've talked about getting another dog in the future, maybe mid-time this year, maybe, I don't know, sometime September maybe. We might look to get a puppy. I don't think we're going to go back to getting an older dog. I definitely think a puppy would be the best option, and then I can teach it the way it needs to be brought into the world properly, with discipline and knowing he's not the alpha of the pack, because some dogs, they do think that when they come into a new house. Maybe we didn't give him enough time. Teddy, I don't know, but he definitely wasn't doing anyone any good, him being here. He was such a loving dog though. He loved cuddles, and he loved attention when you were there. He would always come over and rest his head on you. So I don't want this video to just be throwing all the negatives of Teddy, because honestly, he was a lovely dog. I wouldn't be so upset about it when I dropped him off if he was a nasty dog and he was horrible to people, because he wasn't. He loved people. It was just animals, and that was what was holding him back with his discipline. And he just hated the house on his own, and that's when he started tearing everything up, because he was scared. So hopefully Teddy gets a nice new home, and he gets a nice family to look after him. We don't know. I'm going to give the kennels a call in a couple of weeks and ask for an update on him. And I'll let you guys know as well if you want to know. So yeah. Sorry if this video's come across as quite boring and just me talking, because I'm only doing it because I've been asked. So I want to keep you guys in the loop as well, because at the end of the day, we're creating this big community through my channel, and I want you guys to know what's going on behind this camera, basically. So yeah, apart from that, everything's good, and let's get this ball rolling, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.